All right, here we go. We ready? Everybody ready? Everybody good?
Yes.
You drinking your coffee? That's fine. Ready and in. All right.
I'm ready.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. Over there is Kyle. Kyle, how are ya?
Doing awesome. How are you?
Good. And then we have two. This is a record for On a Couch Talking Sports Night because we actually have two special guests that we managed to fit over three different couches.
Not one, not two,
but three, as LeBron James would say. But anyway, so to my right, this guy. You've heard him. You'll recognize his voice because he's been joining us by phone twice. But this is his first time in person. Our buddy Scott. Scott, welcome to the show, man. Welcome back.
Glad to be here, live and in living color.
And then this guy. I mean, he doesn't. We really don't need to introduce him because you guys probably know him so well by now. But his name is Craig. But you told me earlier today that you are going by a new nickname. Last time you were Mr. 423. What is your new
Mr.
nickname?
Mr. 423 is dead.
Okay.
Oh.
I am Mr. EA.
Sports?
No.
It's in the game?
Now, if you're my friend and you know me, you probably know what that stands for. Something I've been saying regularly.
Scott.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the first word is eat.
Sicko.
I'm not saying the
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll
Yeah,
leave it right there.
Mr. EA.
All right.
Well, as soon as you said my friends will know, I knew exactly. Oh, yeah.
It took me a while to pick up on that, but I get it now. All right, so for tonight's episode, the reason why we brought these guys in, other than because we just love having them on our show, is we got a comment. This was quite a few episodes ago. We got a comment from somebody who we don't even know, just some random commenter on YouTube.
Yes.
Commented with the show idea of wrestling. I'm gonna try to keep a straight face while you're doing that. Wanted us to do wrestling, so we thought about it. We figured, you know what? Why not bring on two of the most wrestling experts that we all know? And well, you're better than me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's fair.
I gotta go out and say right off the start is that I don't know a whole lot about wrestling. I don't watch wrestling. I know. Okay, that was weird, but we're gonna get past it. I don't know, but these guys I know just from watching them and getting to know them. Like they know a good amount about wrestling, and Kyle knows. I don't know, somewhat about wrestling.
Enough to get the gist of it.
Kyle, no, let's be honest. All of Kyle's knowledge came from living with me for a year.
Yeah, basically.
All right, so to start this all out, we're going to go very simple question down the line. You're skipping me because I don't really have an opinion on this. Your favorite all-time wrestler, Craig. I'll start with you, or one of yours.
You're starting with that?
I'm diving right in.
Bang!
Favorite. If it's a tie, you can name like one of them.
If you're starting with that, I'm scared about the next one.
Yeah.
Favorite all-time wrestler.
It's intense.
Oh, man. All time. Overall?
All-time overall.
We have like a top three.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Let's go.
No. I'm gonna go. I got one. I got one. I
Okay.
can do one.
Okay. Are you sure? Okay.
You're gonna respect this. The Undertaker. All time.
Ooh,
I'm going Undertaker. Because he scared the crap out of me when I was
I'm
little.
watching you.
Yeah, it was very scary. So I'm gonna say him number one all time overall.
Okay. Scott.
Because he also was cool. Because like he like drastic like you can attest to this. A character that like actually changed throughout time.
Completely.
You know, like could like he was a zombie right when he started.
Yeah.
Then he became like a wizard, like an evil wizard. What other show? If we're talking about like, that's why I say wrestling has more in common with like Game of Thrones than it does with like actual sports.
Fighting, yeah.
Like if Undertaker went from a zombie to a wizard to a biker
American Badass.
to a biker to like a UFC zombie fighter.
Which is pretty
And now he's just like the Grim Reaper.
now he's just literally he's death. He is
Yeah.
death. Hey, if you see the Undertaker,
you know something's about
death
to
is
happen.
imminent. Fog comes out. Boom.
It's also-
goosebumps.
It's also great, like, so right now the Undertaker's really old and he still competes here and there.
Yeah.
To go in line with the death thing. I'm genuinely scared he's going to die in the ring. Like, that's part of the stakes of the match is he might die in the ring.
He almost did against Brock
Yeah,
Lesnar.
he did. Twice. So I think that's a cool...
See, this is why I love having these guys on, because they could just, like I said, they could just, like, launch into this time. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Scott, what about you? You got a favorite that you've had a little bit of time to sit and think if you've heard
I
Craig.
think
Do
I
you
know
have
what yours is.
do you have a favorite wrestler that you can pick from?
So my favorite, and it's funny because it's almost like it's the opposite of because like in wrestling, almost every character changes, almost
Right.
everyone you see.
Yeah.
But there is one that never changed, and he always did the same thing. Whether he was a bad guy, whether he was a good guy, he cracked everybody, and he
Oh,
cracked beers
shit.
after. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, okay, that's good. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
See, you know that. Everybody knows that. And that's the thing, like, growing up, everybody wanted to be, I forget who said, I think it was Chris Jericho put it this way in an interview. He said, Stone Cold Steve Austin, every dude wants to be him, every girl wants to be with him. And the thing is, that's such a cliche, but the crazy shit is, like, you wanted to go out and have a beer with the guy, but you were afraid he was going to stun your ass
Right.
afterwards. You really didn't know how you felt about him. You just knew when he was coming through, it was going to be trouble. As JR would always say, business is about to pick up.
I guess the weird thing about him is, like, you're right, he's always been the same
Yeah.
in WWE, but, like, he had no idea what the hell he was going to do.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually.
Like, in his heyday, he was driving beer trucks to the ring and spraying people in beer. Like, that was his heyday.
That, he's putting cement in Vince McMahon's limousine.
He drove a Zamboni down to the ring.
Yeah, he
Like,
did.
that was crazy. What other TV show can get away with that?
Yeah.
Flipping everybody the bird. Craziness.
Kyle, do you have a favorite wrestler of all time that you'd like to chime in with here?
You know, I was just thinking about. Normally, I feel like a lot of people would guess who it would be. A lot of people would probably think it would be The Rock because of his extensive movie career and all that stuff. And people know me as the movie guy. But I'm gonna have to actually say CM Punk.
Nice.
That's my
Yeah.
second. I was stuck between him and Taker. Yeah.
Honestly, what I really like about CM Punk, he's not your average wrestler. I like his attitude towards it. He
He's
doesn't
an
take
asshole.
himself. Oh yeah, exactly. He doesn't take himself too seriously. He really likes to bring down the other wrestlers.
Mhm.
He does.
Just kind of, I like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was like somebody you'd see walking down the street, but when he got a microphone or he was in the ring, he was superhuman.
Yeah, and that's what's cool. What's cool about him was definitely like what I was always drawn to was like he was always a rebel. Like
Mhm.
always didn't want
Yeah.
beat to his own drum.
Yep.
And I remember and he was so cocky.
He was.
And when he was facing The Rock.
Yep.
And like The Rock came back, Rock had all this buzz, and Punk just goes up in the ring, and The Rock was like, "I'm gonna punch you in the face," and then he looks at The Rock and just goes, "Your arms are too short to box with God." That's what he just said, and he walked out.
He did.
Imagine like the audacity to say that to The Rock, and that's
Oh.
he said it just and then in the pipe bomb promo, of course.
The thing is with him too, he had Paul Heyman, who's one of the next to Bobby Heenan is probably the best manager of all time, especially one in the top 3 talkers of all time in WWE.
Yeah.
But he didn't even need him because he was that good. He was that good at dropping lines on people, and then he would back it up in the ring with real quality. Like, you never saw the same match twice with him. He would do a bunch of different moves. He had his shtick, but he would do so many different things on top of that it never got boring.
Pretty cool. I actually, while you guys were talking, I actually kind of thought of one that I would probably say is my favorite, and part of it isn't actually like wrestling based, but I just for some reason have always liked John Cena. And I don't even know. I think a lot of it's because of like. Yeah, I think a lot of it's because he's like a local guy. Like
Yeah,
he's
he's
a local,
Boston
like
guy.
he's a Boston guy.
Mm-hmm.
And also, for those of you who have not yet seen this, if you go on YouTube and look up John Cena prank call, it's the most hysterical thing I think I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, somebody super slayer popcorn. It's just so random.
The thing that makes me always laugh and down is like in a spit swapping
makeup
match.
My favorite part is, will you accept a collect call from John Cena?
John.
She's like, are you bleeping kidding me?
Popcorn. Yeah, the popcorn lines would always got me. It's just like so random.
Popcorn, confetti.
But then that led to all the Cena memes of like him interrupting things, which is great.
I love that too.
Yeah.
The Pokemon one is
the new one is
in tears every time.
Did any of you guys see him hosting the ESPYs last night?
I didn't, but I heard he did a good job.
Yeah, his monologue was actually pretty funny. He was like burning. He was like.
I saw the Goodell one.
Yeah, the Goodell one was hysterical.
He said
he compared Vince McMahon to Roger Goodell.
Yeah. He goes, wrestling's not that different from sports.
No, he said it is a lot different from sports. So we have like a billionaire maniac like running the strings, and you see Vince McMahon's face. Spoiler alert, folks! If you're watching, by watching it off now.
Spoiler alert for the ESPYs.
But and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, but it's so different. There's really nobody like that in sports. And then Roger Goodell's face just comes up and it's like, well, maybe we're not so different after all. It's the funniest thing. But yeah, John Cena. I like I said, I don't.
Springfield, West Newbury. Played for Springfield State College.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, he's like I said, a local guy. You know, how can you not support Boston's own, or not Boston, but Massachusetts' own?
But he's also someone is a wrestler that gets a lot of flack for being too generic, too cookie cutter, too goody two shoes.
The 5 moves of doom.
Yes, for people who don't understand that, you explain it. You're good.
So the 5 moves of doom are John Cena's shtick. Every wrestler has their shtick. Usually it's about 2 to 3 moves. This is 5. And pretty much what happens is like Kane. Classic Kane, you get the throat punch, falls into the rope, sidewalk slam.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Pops up choke slam.
Pops up choke slam. Mm-hmm. Jumps off the top rope. Things that he does.
So that's cool. So in wrestling matches, they do that to keep the things going. Right. But then people start to expect stuff, and then so they'll do a twist on it.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, oh shit, here comes the choke slam. Oh no, it's not. You reverse.
Okay.
Exactly. So it builds up tension.
Gotcha. Okay.
Cena, on the other hand,
drives me nuts, and this is why I call it. Back in the day, he used to drive me nuts. I used to call him Super Cena because he will get his he'll throw in a few gorilla punches in the beginning of the match, and he'll get his butt kicked, and then the 5 moves of doom.
Can you name them?
I can.
Okay.
Shoulder block.
Okay. So he starts running the ropes and hitting them with his shoulder.
Okay. He dives and hits with the shoulder. Shoulder block. Another shoulder block. The guy tries to punch him.
So the same move
twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
Oh,
so he goes from one side of the ring, shoulder block, gets up, runs other side, shoulder block.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Then he gets up, the guy swings an errant punch at him, he ducks. There's this awkward side slam, like quite literally, I can't describe it any other way. Side
scoop slam?
Side scoop slam, that's better. I like that better. That's actually perfect. Side scoop slam, Craig. And then he gets up and he does the worst move ever invented in wrestling history other than the mandible claw. And it's, you can't see me! It's called the 5-knuckle shuffle, and he misses their head by about yay much.
It's clear. Sometimes it's really bad. So he bounces off the ropes and drops a big fist on their head.
Yeah.
Except if, when you become older and you start watching wrestling, you see when they mess up.
Oh,
he messes up that move a lot because he just
messes
up.
The Hollywood and it kind of becomes apparent.
If you want me to be my scholar self, as I am, the suspension of disbelief goes away.
Okay.
Yes.
But anyway, the 4th wall is broken.
Yes.
So to speak.
Yeah. So that's the 4th, and then
the 5th move, which is actually a cool move. I wouldn't hate it so much if it wasn't followed up by 4 amateur moves. He does the attitude adjustment, which is awesome. It's fireman's carry, you put someone on your back, and then you slam them. You remember, I don't know if anybody other than Craig and I know Brock Lesnar.
He did I know. Yeah, he did MMA. I know he did MMA. Now he's in WWE, right?
Yeah. Random quick shout out. It's my dad's birthday. I love you and happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Scott's dad.
Happy 70th.
Yeah, happy 70th birthday.
Love you, Daddy.
Looks good for 70.
I appreciate it. I told him that today. He said I feel 70.
So that's the 5 move, and then he wins.
Okay.
So for the longest time, dare I say, from 2004 to 2010,
Yeah.
that you would always win matches like that.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And so people started to hate it because it got all the
It
stakes.
took off the suspense out.
Yeah, all the
yeah.
all the stakes out of it. Because
Okay.
you know who's going to win, you know what's going to happen.
It's kind of like the ending of a Power Rangers episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. He looks like a Power Ranger.
Except when Power Rangers, you have a different monster. He did it the same one.
Right.
So so that caused the fans to resent him, and even though he's a good guy, he gets booed.
He's a very good man.
But he's good. But now it's starting. They're starting to
Starting
realize.
to come around a
They're
little.
starting
Yeah.
to let him do more because he's always been capable of doing more. Like when he first debuted back in 2000, he used to do a bunch of different moves, and there were a lot of rules and regulations put in place, like no headshots with chairs and things like that. So he was kind of stifled creatively. He wasn't allowed to do a lot of stuff that he can do. But he's added a lot of different moves to his arsenal, so he's a lot more fun to watch now. And
Yeah, but he never was a technical wrestler.
Right.
The term is a technical wrestler. Is someone who is really good at wrestling, can do different things, can fight with anyone, never really makes a lot of mistakes, is very technical.
Bret Hart,
So that's
Daniel Bryan,
Daniel Bryan, CM Punk,
CM Punk,
Steve Austin, even
Steve
Stone
Austin,
Cold.
yeah.
But people aren't like that, or like people like The Rock, or even The Undertaker, or
Yeah.
John Cena,
Brock
who are more
Lesnar.
brawlers or more entertainers.
Mhm.
Less so with Brock and Taker are more brawlers. They'll just punch a lot.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes even throwing real punches.
yes,
Wow.
they were very quote unquote stiff workers.
They are, yes. Wonderful term. That is exactly what it is. Stiff,
Well-
for people that don't know, is when you do things roughly in the ring. Sheamus is one of the most notorious because it's like
You're
you're
supposed to play fight.
supposed
Okay.
to play fight and they get a little rough. He gets a little rough, and then you always know when Sheamus has gone too hard because someone will try to headbutt him every time, and then they end up bleeding. He's a massive head, but
Well, as much this has been, this is the reason why we have you guys on because that was a tremendous wrestling lesson. I think I learned more about wrestling in that last
Yeah.
5-10 minutes that I have. But I do.
I can
for-
talk about all day.
I do for time's sake kind of want to move on to our
Fair.
second subject, and that is sort of what guy is. But you too, Kyle. You know, I'll kind of start with you on this one because what sort of got you turned on to wrestling, and sort of what got you started watching wrestling, or
Well,
so.
well,
you should ask him what turns him on. About
No,
Oh!
what? Scott.
He's blushing. Got him. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
That's right. I forget.
Love you, buddy.
I love you too, man. But Kyle, yeah, did it just get hot in here all of a sudden? Like, all right, all right. But anyway, so Kyle, what got you started? Well, I'll start with you. What got you started watching wrestling?
Well, honestly, Craig.
Yeah, living with me.
Yeah, really. That's. I mean, the short answer, the long answer is, Craig and friend Evan. We would.
Oh yeah, Evan. Yeah.
Evan, you know the guy that we've never ever mentioned on the show before. He's a friend of
He's
Craig
in
and
Scotland.
Name drop.
He's When he comes back, you guys should have him on.
You
Huge
should.
Okay.
Huge. Loves baseball.
Okay.
Baseball guy.
Hey, there.
Baseball
there we
member.
go.
Yes.
Dude, you guys. Would
I
be
never
like
told you
back
that.
and forth
His
about
house
that.
is full with baseball memorabilia.
Wow.
I
All
never
right.
told him.
I will keep that in mind.
Evan, you're coming on.
It's on.
I don't know who you are, but you can.
By the way, I do have to point something out quickly because that you just brought a thought to my head. These two guys, back when they were in college living together, I'm doing the hook and horns for some reason. I don't know why. But these guys actually used to do. Kyle and Craig used to do videos like with different wrestling moves.
Yeah.
I just thought I had to bring that up because I think you guys were kind of touching on that to begin with. But yeah, you guys, did you guys have like a favorite specific video that you guys did together?
I remember you did a frog splash one time with me, and I hit you with a sign.
He hit me with
That's the one. Was that the one where like Craig's like talking to the camera about how you're talking trash and you just go? That was my favorite.
He hit
one.
me with the caution slippery floor sign.
Nice.
He just like came up and hit me. Yeah.
Well, honestly, that's actually kind of how I really learned about wrestling, what it was more about.
And like knowing you, I pitched it to you as like it's a live stunt show.
Yeah.
That's how you have to view it. It's like a live stunt show with some soap opera.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it just I didn't realize how heavy of a story story was an emphasis on wrestling. When I was growing up, like as a young kid, like I just thought wrestling was, I didn't know what it was really.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a bunch of guys just smacking each other in the ring, kind of like I thought it wasn't that different from boxing, honestly.
Mm.
But then when I actually finally watched it with Craig and our friend Evan, I really got to understand that there was all these wrestlers with their own personalities and characters. This is going to be a strange comparison, but...
No, it's not. I'm not going to say.
Okay, I kind of almost compare it to, like, comic books a little bit.
Absolutely.
Like, if you really look at it...
Yeah.
Everyone, and like, just think, like, everyone has like their own color scheme. You know? Everyone has their own, like, mottos, their own... Yeah, so it's accurate.
Like, if now, comic book fans who are watching this will probably get this maybe, but, I always kind of looked at certain characters like CM Punk. I looked at him as similar, like a Deadpool kind of character.
Yeah,
almost.
A little bit.
John Cena, almost like a Captain America, Superman type.
Very
Maybe
much
Undertaker
so.
could be like Batman. Almost. I don't know.
That's perfect, actually.
Maybe a little different. Maybe
Kane would definitely be Bane, not to
Yeah,
not
Kane.
to
Kane.
There you go.
I always thought of CM Punk as like a Batman.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Actually, yeah,
Speaking of Batman.
Yeah. That's just how I viewed it.
I'm
Interesting.
Batman.
Okay.
Like, always, like, did his own thing, not trust the big wrestlers, and how he doesn't... I'm getting too nerdy.
No, you're
No,
right.
there's no
I
such
shouldn't
thing.
say that. No.
I
that's
like
all
where
right.
you're going with this.
Would be like a Flash.
Flash?
Probably Daniel Bryan.
Dude, no, like, Daniel Bryan's
Yes!
Like, yes, man.
Actually, no, he wouldn't be. It would be like Evan Bourne.
Like, I thought like a Kofi Kingston.
Kofi King, yeah,
Yeah.
Kofi King is perfect. I'd rather give it to Kofi because
Sami Zayn.
that's the Flash. I feel
No.
like he'd be more of a who would Sami?
Who would fucking Sami
Like
Zayn?
Mr. Stretch. I feel like.
I guess for some reason too, I thought like Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic.
I don't know why I thought that. We were both thinking it.
Yeah.
But he's
That's
awesome. Sami Zayn.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's like sorry.
No, I'm good. I just
I love the
really
little
liked it.
tangents we're just going on.
Yeah.
They're making the episode right now.
Right.
So, kind of anything more to add?
No, I'm good. That's what I want to say. Yeah, I just learned a lot of wrestling. Actually, really just from being in college. Yeah.
That worked. That worked. What about you, Sky? How did you sort of get into wrestling?
So I had two major influences with wrestling. The first one was one of my old best buddies, one of our friends from preschool, Kyle DeMeglio.
Yeah, well, we should preface. Me and you have known each other since
Since
preschool.
preschool.
So
Yeah.
that's another.
We've been friends since like this high.
That's crazy. When you think of it.
It really is
Yeah.
nuts.
Kyle DeMeglio, I miss him. He's a good guy.
He's awesome.
We were
And-
talking about him the other day.
Yeah,
It was 2 weeks ago.
he was down recently, like a couple months ago, and I hadn't seen him in like probably 12 years or something like that. But everything's still the same. He's still the man. So shout out Kyle if you watch this. But yeah, he got me into it, and we used to wrestle all the time. I'll never forget. I jumped off his couch. And I splashed him, but I missed
In
him.
preschool or?
No, this was we were a little older. This was like middle school, and I had braces at the time, and those old like suitcases with like what are they, Legos or Connects. And
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
That was underneath the blanket that I didn't see, and I bashed my face against it.
Oh.
And that's when I knew I was a sicko because I was smiling.
Yeah.
I was cleaning.
Ooh.
That's when I knew wrestling was for me.
Hey, that.
The other major influence is this guy, Boomer, because we have had easily the most epic wrestling matches against each other.
We used to, we played on the same summer baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
And after games, like, how old were we? Like, no, we're like, after, like, in high school.
17, 18,
Yeah.
19, 20.
We would just fight on the field, and, like, the other team would be like, what the fuck's wrong with these guys?
They legit would just sit and watch, and at one point, some dudes from the South End actually asked us, "Are you guys professionals?"
No.
Hey, that's a huge compliment.
Yeah, well, when you threw, Scott put down a cooler, and he like threw me into the cooler, and I hit it, and I went, oh, so good.
Oh,
He sold it perfectly.
Did you actually fit in the cooler?
No, I didn't go into the cooler.
No, I
Not that small.
Not to be to the cooler.
There you go.
I just had to throw
That's
that
what I
out.
thought as well.
I like it.
Well, that's it. I guess I'll back off that.
Yeah.
So I started when I was.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I was in 3rd grade, and my dad ordered pay-per-view. He was like, "Oh, the Royal Rumble," which is the big pay-per-view and
Right.
one of the big pay-per-views in WWE, WWF, where everyone gets in the ring and whoever gets thrown out last, whoever's last man standing, wins a title shot. And he's like, "Hey, I remember the Royal Rumble. And we want to watch this?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it, Dad." And I watched. It was 96, 97, the start of the whole Stone Cold Steve Austin rise.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you remember, but he literally cuts a promo, which is a way of saying does an interview, where he takes his shirt off, pulls out a Sharpie, and he's like, "I'm going to the Royal Rumble, and I literally have a target on me," and just draws a target on himself. And I just being like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? He's literally drawing a target on himself, literally challenging everyone, beat the crap out of me, you know?
Yeah.
And I immediately was just like, wow, I want to be like that. I want to be someone who's just like, I don't give a crap.
Yeah.
So that stuff, and got me on the path of watching it. And then during that time, it was WCW versus WWF, the Monday Night Wars, a big deal. That got me hooked, the back and forth of them. And then, much like a lot of people who like wrestling, when other things get more important, like school, sports, girls, you go through puberty, you're like, oh, wrestling's not cool, you know?
Yep.
And so in like middle school through high school, maybe mid-high school, I was like, I'm not watching wrestling anymore, which was actually good because that is considered the worst time,
period.
the worst period of wrestling.
Really?
Was
When
that.
the Miz was the champion, and for those who don't know the Miz, he's great because he makes you hate him.
Yeah.
But he absolutely sucks as a person. So that
So
was
wrestling
the bad days.
has eras.
Yes.
How they break
Peaks
it down.
and valleys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's the golden era, which is like Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, these are all old guys. Then was I think it was like what was after the golden era?
The golden era was like in your house, like back when that game came out with like Big Van Vader.
Oh, it was
Goldust when he first came out.
no, it was the Hulk. It was Hulk during Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan, Andre the
Was it just
Giant.
Hulk? Was it the Hogan era? Maybe.
I thought it was. I think they just lumped that in with the golden era.
Oh, that's in the golden era.
Because
Okay.
a lot of it was like the same, like punch,
Yeah.
random slam.
So that's Hulkamania. Hulk
Okay,
Hogan's
yeah.
big. Then came the new generation era, which was like Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Diesel,
Yeah.
Bret Hart.
A lot of gimmicky.
A lot of like that's considered a low point,
Okay.
Yeah.
even though they have these great people
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
Then it transitioned into the Attitude Era, which is like
The
considered
best.
the best,
Okay.
which is this. Everyone was basically it was instead of being aimed for children, it became aimed at men 18 to 35.
Okay.
So literally, there was like women in bikinis. There
Yeah.
was like people drinking beer. There was all this like crazy crap.
Profanity,
Profanity,
nudity sometimes.
nudity. People get lit on fire. Like just
Wow.
crazy
Yeah.
stuff.
Chair shots to
But
the
still
head.
like really good. you
Yeah.
know? And then became Ruthless Aggression Era, which was the rise of John Cena.
Yeah.
What current era are they in?
The new era.
Okay.
The new era.
Okay.
So Ruthless. So it's tough. So Ruthless Aggression then became kind of like the reality era. It's the rise of CM Punk, and then that is now we're in the new era,
Oh,
which is
wow.
like these new kind of like technical, really amazing wrestlers. Who guys like I know we've talked. We really like Dean Ambrose, Sami Zayn, my boy Kevin Owens, who's probably my favorite right now.
Love Kevin Owens.
So you see this like transition now that's it's becoming. So during it's kind of like the Ruthless Aggression and it became PG again,
Okay.
where it became more aimed towards children.
All right.
And now it's kind of slowly becoming more like, oh, we can not just aim towards children, we can do a little more risky
Push the
stuff.
envelope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're still in I would say we're so going back to what I said, I stopped watching wrestling during that low period of ruthless aggression, and I came back to it because of Eben. Well, not really because I started liking more because of Eben because me and him would watch together in college. Who I eventually lived with, and me and Kyle's good friend. I got back into it, graduated school, came back, come to find out Scott's back into it. We have a whole group of guys that watch.
Well, I was going to say, this is quick, not off topic here, but these guys, as we've said many, many a time, have one of, in my opinion, one of the best local cable access shows out there.
It's 100% the best.
Show.
Yeah, there's not much competition. Yeah. We got that public access money, which is
the Craig Show.
It's
AKA
all right,
it's not his show.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring this up is because you guys do a lot of wrestling.
Yes, we do.
And I mean, we were talking off air, like you put him through a chair, not a chair, a table at one point. I mean, you had many wrestling moves done on you, you on you. We both, we actually were on one episode where we both had like wrestling moves done on us, Kyle and
I
I.
think I got a stunner from The Rock, actually.
Yeah.
And like a choke slam from Jack Havoc or something like that.
Yeah, so it's weirdly creeped into
Who's
like
one of the characters, by the way?
other parts of like life. Weirdly, you know, not
Well,
on
one of the
purpose.
biggest rivalries of your show is based out of like
Our
wrestling
wrestling.
Jack Havoc versus the real
And this,
Rock.
well,
Shout out, by the way, to Mark and Sean. Sean's
Yeah.
been on. Mark, shout out to you.
if you have him on, oh my god, he's a great guy. He's a
but yeah,
He's insane.
but
Love
like,
him to death, but he's nuts.
but just like wrestling, like it's become like sort of a fixture of the show, based on like I mean you guys obviously, but based on just those two guys and their sort of rivalry is like born out of. Because I think the first time we ever saw Jack Havoc on the
Was
show
in
was
fight.
he was wrestling
yeah,
Sean, aka the Real Rock.
yeah,
And then you got hit because that's the episode where Sean hit you with a chair.
absolutely, yeah. So it's weird, like it's if you break down wrestling in its simplest terms, it's literally all about a bad guy fighting a good guy. At its core, a bad guy getting the edge, but then the good guy finally overcome the odds of winning.
That's awesome.
You know, and that's
It's like a story.
it's a fun story to tell. You know,
Yeah.
and then within that variation, there's all these like, well, the underdog, like the little guy being the big guy, the big monster just beating up everyone.
Mm-hmm.
There's variations, you
That's
know,
awesome.
and it's all about like styles clashing.
Yeah.
You know, like you have someone that's really good at flying and jumping off the top rope versus someone who's gonna keep that guy on the ground. How's that gonna look? How's that gonna be compelling? But it's definitely like a weird. Like I said it at the beginning, it's got more in common with TV shows than it does with like a game of football.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not athletic because God knows the things they do.
Oh,
It's
God,
insane.
yeah.
But well, that's why I always don't get the argument when people, and we've all experienced, especially me and Scott, it's like, you guys know it's fake, right?
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, I mean, like some of the fights might be fake, so to speak, but the athleticism is not fake.
Right.
Yeah. And then the other mindset is like, of course we know it's fake.
Right.
We're not thinking.
But that's part of the fun.
That's part of the fun.
Right.
We're not watching Breaking Bad and thinking, oh wow, this is real.
He's
I'm watching
really
a
selling you.
documentary.
He just got shot.
No, you don't think that. And it's like, it's got like.
Well, like any shows, like these guys
Yeah.
really don't hate each other. Like they're,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, they're playing a character.
Exactly. And I think that's the part that's always been fun to me is like the characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and
I
that's
agree completely with that.
it's fun.
All right, so the last topic I want to touch on for this episode is I'm gonna start with Craig on this one.
Great topics.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
I was
good.
kind of flying by the seat of my pants a little bit here because, like I said, I don't know a ton about wrestling, but I came up with the most basic topics I could. But I'm glad they worked. So we got a great discussion going.
On fire.
All right, so for the last topic I want to touch on, I'll start with Craig on this one. Favorite wrestling move
Ooh.
to either that you've seen or that you've done on somebody.
I think I know
I'm actually going to begin to have no idea.
what you're
I'm gonna. This is.
You're gonna throw a
There
little
was a
curveball
time
in there?
period where this was definitely.
Yes, I know what you're thinking.
Yes.
And yes, that's the second one I'm gonna choose. But the first one is the new one. I'm about to show the level of nerdiness I am in wrestling, and that's basically what I'm saying. So there's wrestling in Japan.
Okay.
Yes.
It's probably the second after WWE.
Sumo wrestling or like regular wrestling?
Both,
wrestling.
but there is regular
Okay.
regular wrestling.
Regular. You're southern.
Just
all of a
regular
sudden,
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
So there's this guy who does this move. I can't say his name. Kazuka Okada. I think I nailed it. Does this move called
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Does this move called the Rainmaker.
Ooh.
And it's
Just the name Rainmaker sounds like pretty
So
intense.
cool.
so it's literally it's basically a ripcord lariat. So he starts.
I have no idea what that is. So yeah, you guys.
So it's literally
a little
like he starts
demonstration.
back here.
Watch out, Kyle.
He grabs this arm. Sorry,
Yeah,
grabs this arm. And he like pulls them. So he like stretches them. And
Yeah.
he comes over and just close slams.
Oh, wow.
I think that's a sick move.
That was a good shot, by the way.
You've done that to me a couple.
Yeah, I
times.
love that move. It's easy too.
Yeah, I was
And it
about to
looks
say.
crazy.
It looks sick.
But what you think I was gonna say?
Super kick.
Yeah, Super Kick's good too. It's just so funny. Like it's just
Super kick pod. I was literally at one point looking for a T-shirt online for this guy that said Super Kick Body. I never
Yeah.
found it. It was for your birthday. I never found it.
it's okay.
If I ever do,
There's a thought that counts.
Yes.
I tried it.
Scott, what about you? What's your favorite wrestling move? Either that you've done or have seen.
So that I've seen, I'll start with that one.
Okay.
So my favorite that I've seen is. That's really tough.
I'm trying to think what he's gonna say. I have one idea, but I don't know if he is.
Your mind melding powers have worked very
Well, we've
well
talked
so
about
far.
this-
Yeah.
We've talked about this forever.
Yeah.
We've had like infinite conversations.
Yeah.
Hours upon hours just talking.
It shows. It shows.
Let's see. What was my favorite move? Probably. Honestly, because I feel like it combines every single aspect of wrestling, it's probably an F5. Strictly because
I had three in my mind. I thought you were gonna say.
that's definitely one of them.
Okay.
That's my favorite. That's one of my favorites to watch because this guy Brock Lesnar who does it, he's an animal. He lifts people that are like, granted they help him, they give him a little jump. And in case you don't know what that is, it's fireman's carry. You hold someone up like this, and he turns.
We're not gonna do this one.
We won't be doing it. That would cause mayhem.
Yeah.
And
Might
he
cause some
spins them and
damage.
throws them up in the air, and they spin in the air while they're hooked under his arm, and then they drop down, and they land flat on their face. And I love that move just because it takes every ounce of strength, and you also have to have balance and agility in a way just to get them up, and they help you along the way with it, but it's definitely a hard move to pull off. My favorite to do to people, I think Craig knows which one that is.
Chokeslam?
That's number 2 for my favorites to do to people.
I don't know.
Think of people that just think about the other episodes. Think about what I got the most joy out of. Joke slamming you through a table, believe me, was my favorite moment, but my favorite move to do to people.
TDT? Nah, I'm way off. I'm not melding with you. Just
I
saying.
love smearing.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
actually got that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we talked about Jack Havoc earlier.
Yeah.
There's
About
one. If you could, whatever it was in
the Cauldron Combat.
Oh, if
Cauldron
you look
Combat.
up
It's Craig's show Cauldron
Combat.
Combat. I think
that's it.
Yeah, I think
and
that's
it's towards
Street
the end,
Fighter Cauldron
Street
Combat.
Fighter Cauldron Combat. Towards the end of the episode, I literally thought he was hurt.
Him or
No,
Jack?
Jack, our friend Jack.
Didn't you beat him in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because your team got the most.
I whooped his ass.
Yeah.
It was 100% real. All of it. Yes.
So I thought you were gonna say either F5 was one. I thought you were gonna say Powerbomb.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, how didn't I think of that one?
I also thought you were gonna say Go to Sleep.
Both of those. Jeez. They're all in my top 5. All of those moves.
Powerbomb is easy.
That just goes to
Just
show you
slam.
how well Craig knows me. Those are literally like my
He's thinking
Those
he
are like
wasn't
my top-
yeah.
Those are all my top moves that I
Yeah.
love the most. They're
That's
so
all.
much fun.
And then the go to sleep, the CM Punk's move where he tosses you over his shoulder,
So-
and when you come down, he knees you in the face.
That's kind of like Bane, except like Bane was aiming more for like
Yeah, he
the
did
torso
from the
when he
back.
broke Batman's back in Dark Knight Rises. But anyway, sorry, getting nerdy.
Oh, nothing wrong with being nerdy. We're all being nerdy. That's
Yeah,
fine.
we are. Yeah, you got. I mean, there's been a lot of sports and nerdy references. Kyle, what's your favorite move?
All right, I will say I'll have to go from description. I don't know any of the names. I can't remember them to save my life, but I like the. I'll just see if you guys can maybe come up with a name as I
Let's
say.
see how
say
fast we
it.
can get it.
I like the one where like they're bouncing back and forth on the ring, and then they finally do like the ground slam.
Ground
Bane.
slam?
I
So
forget.
wait, so like he throws him off the ropes.
Yes.
He catches him and he like twirls him and slams him. Oh, no. It's I know what he likes.
Describe it again.
Triple H does it. Arn Anderson.
Pedigree.
No.
Oh, the
Spine
knee-
Buster.
Spine Buster.
Spine
Oh,
Buster.
yeah.
Spine
it.
Buster.
Yep.
Yep.
Nailed it.
That's a good one. Titus O'Neil has a great spine buster.
Mm-hmm. That's literally just picking up someone and just slamming him on their back.
Ooh,
Yeah.
But if you can do it with intensity, it looks good.
that sounds spine busting.
Oh yeah. Which is also what one of the villains in Man of Steel did to Superman. They picked him up and just slammed him into the pavement. I'm alright. I'm done with the comments, by the way.
I know you had to drop a reference somewhere
Always.
in there, so every episode you have to drop one, so it's okay.
Nothing wrong with that. Drop it like fire.
Yeah.
That like top.
Well, this has been this
Eye
has been,
opening.
yeah, this has been eye opening. I've learned a lot of lessons. I hope our viewers have learned a lot of lessons. I hope that
And we honestly just scratched the surface.
We really did.
There is years and years of history of wrestling, and it's insane. You know.
yeah, you can
There's
write an
years and
entire.
years of
I'm sure
history
people have
just
written
us
entire
talking.
books. Just
Oh no,
telling-
absolutely. There's a multitude of books on wrestling.
Yeah.
There's also that funny video that showcased the history.
Well,
I think of Triple H.
I was gonna just say that if you're really interested in like wrestling as an art form and wrestling as like as something more than wrestling, there's this video online from Max Landis,
Yep.
a screenwriter.
Chronicle.
Yep. It's on YouTube. It's called Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, and he literally kind of touches on things me and Scott were saying of like how wrestling goes beyond just being a
Yeah,
sports event.
right.
And what he does is he takes one character from wrestling,
Yeah,
Triple H, who is someone who's gone through a lot of changes,
Oh yeah.
and literally tracks his history, and using him shows how wrestling kind of transcends this like
Right.
sports and kind of
that's
this
awesome.
lowbrow kind of
That's awesome.
label it gets, you know.
That's awesome.
And I'm not saying wrestling is highbrow.
Yeah.
We could both agree. We're not. There's nothing really academic really about it, but it's definitely entertaining. It's entertaining.
It is.
You know.
It is. And,
It's like how can I describe it?
It's like a Broadway play meets
A stunt show.
A stunt show.
Yeah.
that's. I mean, yeah. That's.
Combines the
You
best
put it
of
perfectly.
yeah, it's like the best of sport. It's like best of sports and athletic events and TV shows almost.
Yeah.
Dramas.
That's the best way to put it.
I agree.
All right. Well, that being said, we are going to wrap it up here. Thank you, Scott. Pleasure as always.
Always a
Glad to
pleasure.
have you on.
Thank you guys for having me.
Craig, aka EA.
Mr. EA's in the building. You're gonna E that A. Hey, you know what I was saying.
Very well done. Very well done, right there.
Get that shit out of here.
Oh,
Screw you,
ooh.
Kyle. Screw you, Kyle.
And on that note,
Piece of crap.
so for Kyle, for Sky, for Craig, aka EA, I'm Robbie,
that A.
signing off for another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. We'll see you next time. Good job, boys. Good job.